Hello, welcome to this update for North America. It will be relatively quick today, but we just need to talk about the severe weather and some winter weather stuff as well. So today's November 23rd, Sunday. There's a slight risk of severe weather in Texas and this marginal around Maine in Texas and the southeastern corner of New Mexico. So there's some wind threat, just 5%, some damage winds, a few storms. The main threat is hail, some moderate large hail in those storms, and also a 2% tornado threat. So a tornado or two can be possible around Midland and other areas. So be careful this afternoon. And a few severe storms capable of large hail will be possible this afternoon and evening, parts of West Texas. So be aware in those areas. And let's see here for tomorrow, there's another slight risk. So this light risk goes into Louisiana, also in spots Mississippi and Arkansas, most of East Texas, including Houston, and this marginal risk. So tornado threat is bigger tomorrow, 5% and 2%. The 5% goes all the way from Texas to Mississippi. So be careful because it might be more elevated in spots on northern Louisiana and eastern Texas. So be aware tomorrow. There's some wind threat, 15 and 5%, especially right from Texas to western Mississippi, and some hail as well in most of the areas, some large hail. So stay safe. Scared severe thunderstorms are possible from Monday mid-afternoon to Monday night across Texas to the Arctic Miss, and a few tornadoes along with large hail and damage winds are anticipated. So be careful. So let's see. The primary change to this outlook was a shift expand severe probabilities east and south based on the latest guidance. Confidence remains too low for highlighting a mesoscale corridor strong tornado potential with enhanced risk level. So what they are saying is the enhanced risk is possible tomorrow, but still the confidence is too low. So we might end up with a small enhanced risk or not, but for now the confidence is too low. But there's definitely a good tornado threat tomorrow in those areas along with large hail and damaging winds. So be careful and be weather aware. And let's see if there's something later. There's a marginal risk on day three still for like the mid-south, southeast spots of Louisiana into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee, spots in North Carolina. So just be aware, nothing too crazy. A few strong transverse severe storms possible across parts of the southeast on Tuesday. So this is for Tuesday. So be careful today and tomorrow, especially tomorrow, with some supercells with some hail, tornadoes, and damaging winds in those areas. So here, there's the HER. It does show today, Sunday, some snow in Arizona and New Mexico. You can see in the higher terrain there. And then Sunday, more some heavier snow in southern Colorado into New Mexico. This goes, and then later this afternoon in Texas, you can see some severe storms starting there. West Texas, Central Texas, but mainly West Texas, and a few supercells. This goes, and this line of storms continues into the early morning hours into Oklahoma, Central Texas, still a few storms. And tomorrow afternoon is already showing this line of stronger to severe storms in eastern Texas into Louisiana. So be careful, and this will still update tomorrow, but stay tuned, be aware. There's here like let's see if it shows Cape for today. Let's see if this works because the connection is not good. But like shows there, let's put this afternoon if it works here. It kind of works. So like it shows in the early afternoon a few spots western Texas, some 800 to 1000 joules per kilogram, and a few spots there. And then later in the evening, it does increase a little bit spots of western Texas, like 1000 to 1400 joules per kilogram, a few areas. It's kind of coming in from the south, southeast. So there's some decent instability, not much, but there's some decent stability today. Tomorrow already shows let's see if this works, especially in Texas, like 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram, a few spots locally higher, 2,500, not that high, but like 2,200 joules per kilogram, a few spots tomorrow. So be aware those storms and warn others. And another big threat is this heavy rain. There's this light risk there through central Texas into southern Oklahoma and this margin risk. So today, slight risk further north and east tomorrow, especially Texas, and all the way to southwestern Tennessee. Day 3, Tuesday, still in the southeast, a few areas there. Day 4 goes back to Washington, Oregon, a marginal. And day 5, nothing. So just today and tomorrow until Monday night shows a few spots to 2 inches, 2 inches and a half. Until Tuesday, a little bit more in the southeast. And day 1 through 7, it does increase more the arc attacks, even like 4 inches, close to 4 inches and a half, a few areas next 7 days. So be aware, increases in Washington and Oregon as well, especially in the mountains there. So be aware. And in California, it does calm down a little bit, but a shower or two in the northeast, some more rain as well, and most of the Midwest and a few other spots. So be careful for snow. There are those high probabilities in Colorado, New Mexico there today, and in two spots, northern Rockies, Cascades. Day 2, more Montana, Wyoming, and very low probabilities into North Dakota there. Day 3, more to Minnesota, North Dakota, possibly in the Cascades. Day 4, there across the northern Midwest near central Canada and spots there in the Rockies. Day 5, day 6, still in the Rockies, trying to get some probabilities into the plains. So be aware. We'll keep watching. There's the winter storm severity index, day 1 through 3, does show a few spots there, even like South Dakota, Montana, and the Rockies, a few spots to watch there. So be careful in those areas. And let's see here. So let's check the HER for rainfall next 2 days. It doesn't show too much, but does show like some 2 to 3 inches spots there in Texas, especially north central Texas, even 3 inches and a half, a few areas. So be aware, nothing too crazy, but some localized flash flooding, some stronger storms. So be careful. And 5 days, the European does show like it doesn't increase so much, but rains more in the northeast, a few areas there's some rain, and spots in the northwest, especially so like 4 to close to 5 inches in a few areas, but like 4 inches and a half. So be aware. And the European does show the southwest dries up a little bit more, but until December 1st does increase a little bit spots southernmost California and spots in the mid-south. So if I put it until December 5th, the European does show like some 9, 10 inches in the mid-south in the first, second week of December. So better watch this later in December. And the snow for now until November 28th, it's mainly in the northwest, in the Rockies, and in the northeast. So it does show some 23 inches, some 25 inches in the mountains, Montana to Idaho next 5 days, and most of Montana will get snow 11 inches, shows spots in Washington, some 16, 17 inches, a few spots in Oregon. So be aware, and there into Minnesota as well, so 9, 13 inches, North Dakota, most of North Dakota might get some snow, into South Dakota a little bit as well, and those areas in Colorado, into New Mexico, some 5 inches, and like some 1 inch, might be locally higher, especially in the higher peaks in New Mexico. So be aware. And does show in Pennsylvania, upstate New York, some 5 inches or more, Vermont into New Hampshire, 1 inch, northern Maine, just like near the border of Canada, and especially those areas near the Great Lakes, some 8 inches. So be aware, the GFS is like it's further, has a little bit more in New York, the GFS, and spots northern Vermont, the UP of Michigan, the GFS like 21 inches, just 10 inches on the European. The Arkansas some 15 inches, northern Wisconsin, even to 20 inches. next 5 days. So be aware, those areas will keep watching, but until December 6th, it does increase most of the Great Plains into the western mountains and there across the northeast. The south still spared, but we'll see what happens. But there's sure to be more snow many areas of the country until December, especially the first week of December going to northern Mexico already, spots in California again. So better watch the first week of December. Check in Canada now does show next 5 days, starting there on the west, British Columbia, near the Pacific in the mountains, spots there further north, near Alaska as well, and central British Columbia. Nothing major for the north just yet, but in the Rockies, in the south, in Alberta, does show some 29 centimeters or more. Spots the Rockies 34, southern Alberta, northern Alberta, few snowflakes, but nothing too crazy. It shows there southern Saskatchewan, 24 centimeters, and even 51 centimeters in Ontario. So the heaviest stuff might come for central Ontario and spots there like southern Ontario, some lake effect, and into Quebec, some more snow as well, 33 centimeters. Like 90% of Quebec might get snow in the next 5 days, especially northern Labrador and northern Quebec. So be aware in these areas just near Ontario. So be careful. New Brunswick, not much, but a few snowflakes as well. And Nova Scotia, some 4 centimeters. The European, the GFS into southern Nova Scotia too. There's Newfoundland that shows some 5 to 10 centimeters. Spots in Labrador as well. So be careful and we'll keep watching. So there's some snow in the northeast now, spots in eastern Canada, these fronts, and then here's easier to see it. Shows like spots there in Quebec, southern Quebec. The Monday shows maybe some ice in New York, according to the European, and in Ontario, some snow in Quebec and Ontario. Monday, this goes, shows like some more freezing rain or snow near Hudson Bay, and then let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, this big snow system comes into Ontario and Quebec. Thursday, spots in the upper Midwest, in Michigan, northern Indiana, too, into the northeast by next weekend. And then by Friday, the 28th, more snow and rain and freezing rain to eastern Canada, possibly. And Saturday, this goes into the Atlantic. So be aware. Now, for context, let's see on the west, shows some bits of snow and freezing rain scattered in the Rockies, there in British Columbia and Alberta, and going to Montana and Idaho, more snow throughout Monday. Then this clipper goes into North Dakota and Montana with snow Tuesday and into Minnesota there, southern Manitoba and southern Ontario Wednesday. Then throughout Wednesday shows this grows in size and more snow for Wisconsin, Minnesota and Ontario. Wednesday, Thursday, more in the Great Lakes and those areas, the GFS as well. And then while that's happening, there's another front on the west, more snow in the Rockies and Cascades and more freezing rain. The Europeans is already showing some freezing rain spots in the plains into the Midwest there in the U.S. by Saturday, the 29th. Sunday, the European has more freezing rain and snow in the plains. So the European is very radical. Look, has a big ice storm in Texas on December 1st, and that's the thing you definitely don't want to hear. And there's in Oklahoma, it shows December 1st. Let's just see the GFS because the European levitates sometimes. So it does show, let's try to get some color again. So it shows like on December 1st, some freezing rain in Oklahoma or spots in Iowa, but the European is like the real beast. So let's hope this doesn't happen, but we'll keep watching. So be aware in those areas. Shows like northern Canada and Alaska, some snow there, Nunavut, Yukon, Northwestern Territories, northern Alaska, and the areas near the Pacific there, with more snow in the mountains, some freezing rain south and western Alaska too. So be aware, and later into next weekend, more in central Alaska, into northwestern Canada. So be aware. in those areas. We'll keep watching. And here for those temperatures, the above average temperatures still show like some above average and below average. This is Wednesday, November 26th, some below average temperatures in the Midwest and those areas near the Great Lakes. So this will follow that snowfall that I showed you that season. So this might bring some pretty cold temperatures eastern US into Canada. Meanwhile, more cold builds in central Canada, more cold waves. And this is the crazy cold wave, the freezing rain that the European had. It goes as far south as Mexico, the much below average temperatures by December 2nd, and later still showing more in Canada. So be aware. We'll keep watching this. The European is also showing a similar thing because what I just showed you was the GFS. And later, like the zero C does show this big cold wave central, like to the Rockies and plains there later, the first days of December. So we'll keep watching this, especially because there's a disruption, the polar vortex, because of possible sudden stratospheric warming event. And this might cause some more cold air to come down to these latitudes. So this is something we need to watch, especially for this potential cold snap in the start of December that might bring more snow and everything. So we'll keep watching, be aware in those areas. Let's just check the potential temperatures for Canada and then the US. I'll show you soon. So it does show there in Canada, like next Monday morning, the 24th, shows some -7, some -19 in the Rockies, spots there to -22 in Yukon, even -26, and a few spots in eastern Canada, very cold, below zero temperatures, show like some -2, spots there -1 central Canada, and then Monday afternoon kind of warms up in the far south, some 9 degrees, but still not much. And then Tuesday morning gets colder across Yukon, spots there to -26, and in Alaska in Fahrenheit, does show some -17 Fahrenheit, spots in the teens Fahrenheit to like -6, so very cold in Alaska there. And then shows like the Rockies, spots in Alberta to some -24 degrees Celsius. Tuesday, this goes, and Wednesday morning, still like very cold, so negative temperatures most of central western Canada. So like some -20 northern British Columbia, -27 in Yukon, and just far southern Ontario escapes it because north of that is all very cold, so -7, even -15 in eastern Quebec, spots in Newfoundland, some -1. Nova Scotia still slightly less cold. So Wednesday, this cold wave comes further south into the US, and like central Canada, some -19, -22 spots there across Yukon, -29 degrees Celsius, in Alaska, uh, in the negative Fahrenheit as well, in the low teens in southern Alaska. So please be careful. In Nunavut, some -22 in a few areas. This goes. It shows Friday morning, the 28th, much colder, some Arctic air coming in with -27 in Nunavut, so -33 in Yukon, even like -32. The wind chills might be very cold, the feels like temperatures. It might feel like -30 or less. In many areas in the south, it might feel like -15 or even colder. If the wind might feel like less than -20. So please be careful, and spots there across Quebec, negative temperatures, very cold. The only places that kind of escape are far Atlantic Canada and Vancouver. The rest is very cold. So Friday and then Saturday, the 29th, gets more widespread cold in Nunavut, Northwestern Territories. This comes further south, and by December 1st, let's try to show this with color. Shows there in Nunavut some -32, some -26 Northwestern Territories, or -24 in Ontario. And then this cold comes further south, December 1st, 2nd, colder in Quebec. So please be careful. These temperatures, stay warm. Please get some good jackets, stay warm. So here Let's check if there's any ice on the forecast. They don't show anything here for New York, but the European kind of had something. So just be aware of that. I showed before the European, but no no significant ice expected. The map doesn't even have anything, but the 48 hours snow in those areas in the northern, extreme northern plains, in the Rockies, heavier there in Montana, and spots in the northeast. So be careful. Does show some May is temperature still in Florida there, and some 70 spots in the south during the day, still some 30s in the northeast and the Rockies. During the night, already falls to some 20s, 30s in the Midwest, some 20s in northern Maine, so most of Maine, and then shows some 20s the northern plains, spots there across New Mexico, Colorado, some low teens in the mountains, most of the mountains in the west, some 20s, 30s, and teens, and then shows tomorrow afternoon, Monday, remains some 30s in the mountains and 20s, and the south does get Sesame is southern Texas, even close to 90 near the Mexico border, and then later by Tuesday, November 25th, does show even like some single digits in the mountains in Wyoming, some 20s things scattered about, and some low things in Montana. Show spots there as far south as New Mexico, some 20s in the mountains, some 20s things in the northeast. So be careful during Tuesday afternoon, warms up in the far south, but still some 30s during the day in North Dakota and some 20s in the Rockies in those areas. Then during the night, November 26th, Wednesday, shows there's some like 10 degrees Fahrenheit in North Dakota already, possibly some single digits northern Montana, in the mountains in Colorado, Wyoming, some low teens to single digits, and like some 20s far north, as far south as northern Texas. So some 20s, 30s in the plains, some teens in the plains as well, in northern New England there, in the mountains in the west. So be careful. This changes all the time, but it's just a general outlook. So let's see, Wednesday afternoon, the maximum temperatures might be around 23 degrees Fahrenheit in North Dakota. So get ready for a cold week. Shows there in the south it does warm up in Florida, those areas, and still cold in the Rockies. So Thursday morning, some like 5 degrees Fahrenheit, North Dakota. Please stay warm. Some wind chills might be close to like 0 degrees Fahrenheit. And then does show some 30s as far south as northern Mississippi, and spots in Arizona, 20s, 30s in the mountains, and some teens in the mountains, teens in the Midwest, and single digits in the north. In the northeast, further like in the high elevations and upstate New York and those areas, some 30s. Does show Thursday afternoon, like 20 degrees maximum temperature Thursday afternoon, and still cold in the Rockies. And the south does get warmer in the southwest as well. But like Friday morning, does show some like 8 degrees Fahrenheit, North Dakota again. And these 30s come all the way down to northern Florida. So some 39 degrees, some 30s in North Carolina, and some more freezing temperatures Midwest into the northeast as the cold air comes further east. Shows some 20-star stings in the Rockies, scattered as well. And then by Friday afternoon, the 28th, shows some 20s still in the north there, in the Rockies, and slightly warmer temperatures in the south, some 60s, 70s. Then Saturday morning, the 29th, some 7 degrees, North Dakota again, even like some 4 degrees, northern Montana, and still this cold on the east, northeast, like 20s as far south as northern South Carolina, and some teens 20s in the northeast, and more frosts expected, and in the Rockies some teens 20s as well. So shows day 7 Saturday, still like 16 degrees maximum temperature North Dakota Saturday. It will be very cold, especially after December 1st, the cold wave coming. And it's still the 29th, so shows some things there in the Rockies and warmer in the south. So be careful in those areas and stay safe. These cold temperatures, just making sure there's nothing crazy with the wind. There's some gusty winds near the Great Lakes there today, spots in northern Mexico in the mountains, and to Greenland there, extra tropical cyclone, strong gusts in the southern Greenland. So Monday, Tuesday, the islands in southern Alaska there, the Aleutian Islands, and then does show strong gusts there in South Dakota Tuesday, like close to some 57 mile per hour gusts on the European, even close to 60. Wednesday into Iowa, and spots in Minnesota still stronger. Thursday in the Great Lakes, some higher gusts in the Appalachians. Then Thursday, Friday still shows in the east, northeast, slightly gustier there, and into Atlantic Canada. And does show by November 30th in the Rockies, spots near California and northern Mexico, possibly strong gusts as well, but still monitoring. So be aware. And in Canada, not seeing anything too crazy, just like some fronts in the Pacific and the Great Lakes. So be careful, stay safe.